everyone, welcome back to Blissfully Bloom. I'm Victoria LeBlanc, your host, and this podcast was created to empower women to love themselves unconditionally, transform their mindsets, and discover their own inner bliss. In episode number 56, I am bringing another guest on the show, and her name is Rasna Dhak. We met through Instagram, and today we're going to talk all about personal growth and really how to strive to be the best version of yourself so that you can up-level your life. Rasna Dhak is a spiritual mindset and business coach who is the founder of Activate Your Inner Goddess program. She helps you activate your potential and release it into the world so you can find the powerful, activated version of you who creates a dream life out of your passion. She always knew she was meant for more. She always wanted to empower women to say yes to themselves and create lives and businesses that allows their impact to grow and cash to flow. She knows every person is deserving of wealth and abundance. If you're open to receive it, it'll come. She's now started a business that allows women to effortlessly attract their intentions with ease so they can live their dream reality without having to feel like it has to take long or be hard. It gets to be magical, fun, and exciting. I cannot wait for all of y'all to listen to today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Blissfully Bloom. I am so excited to have such a beautiful soul on this show today. Her name is Rasna. Welcome, Rasna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on here with you today. Such a great opportunity.
Well, thank you. And I'm super excited to dive into our topic today of personal growth and expansion. But before we do, I usually ask my guests one little beginning signature question, and that is, what is one powerful lesson you have learned that has changed your life?
One powerful lesson. There's so many, but probably the most important for me is to do whatever it takes to fulfill your dream mission and life. And this is to say because you don't want to think 6 months down the road or 1 year down the road of what could have been when you have everything that you need right now to get everything that you want, right? And one important factor is that when you desire something, it's truly meant for you. Like when you have that pulse of, I'm meant to do something different, I'm meant to, expand in this world in a different way, that is your pull to go and do whatever it takes because that's the uniqueness of your soul.
Yeah, it's like a soul mission that really
Yeah.
lights you up. And there may
Mhm.
not be a reason for why you feel that way, but sometimes there doesn't need to be. It's just a knowing.
Exactly. Like sometimes you don't need to find a different reason towards why I should do something, but it's just an internal feeling when you know that you're here to do something different and you know that your mission on this earth is probably different, like much more different than the norm. And that's what's exciting because we want to live a life that's exciting and joyful and playful, right? And when you have that deep, deep feeling, it's like just go for it.
Yes, yes, such
Yeah.
great wisdom. And a lot of people, I think, really need to hear that, right? Because they may find so many excuses, come up with so many excuses in their heads that hold them back from taking action that will really propel them forward in creating their dream life. So it really is important
Mhm.
to just do it. Just jump in the water and see how you feel. Like if it there's
Exactly.
really no right or wrong decision because
Yeah.
any decision is going to help you evolve. So,
Exactly. That's so
yeah.
important to know.
So, could you share a bit about your personal growth journey and how it all began?
Yeah, definitely. So my personal growth journey actually began since I was a child. So I've grown up in a spiritual family. I was always into personal development, always read personal development books. Those are the only books I've ever read. I was always into quotes. And as I grew older, I understood that this is something that I want to focus in on. And in the beginning of my journey, I started off teaching mostly business strategies, but I realized that was so out of alignment. And my true calling was actually to learn more about personal development and teach other women how to grow into themselves and turn that into their business and into their life mission. So it all started from when I was younger. So I just grew into it and I just stuck with it, which means that it was just meant for me. And I just find like everything about the subconscious mind, of how much of a growth mindset is so important. All of that just interests me so much. And that's why I just stuck through this road and just, I'm so in love with it.
Wow. So, is there a difference that you feel from where you first began to where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest difference for me was from the beginning of my business journey. So I've always been into personal development before this, but in this year, I've actually truly grown because now I'm actually implementing everything I know. So it's one thing like learning everything, but it's one thing implementing everything. And once you implement everything, you really feel the difference. It's like I couldn't even show up before on face to face on my stories. I couldn't even, really talk about everything that actually aligned with me. But once I got into personal development and realized like everything I know, all my wisdom is power, that's when I started showing up because as I said before, your uniqueness is what is all of you. So once I started embracing that, everything was just flowing for me and everything just became so much more fun.
So good and so powerful. I
Yeah.
mean, we may just get caught up in the idea of taking in all of the wisdom, and there is so much knowledge out there, and it can be overwhelming to realize just how much there is. And then, if you read a book, let's say you read a self-help book, but you
Mhm.
don't actually try any of the tools that they give you or strategies that they implement in the book, then it's just going to be in your mind, right? The messages that they share is just going to be in your mind and you're not actually going to live it out. So, really, taking those necessary steps is really important. And that's part of the process of growing too.
Exactly. You just
Yeah.
said that in the most beautiful way. That's exactly how I feel as well.
Mhm. So, what advice would you give to someone who is really seeking growth, really seeking change, and is curious about the personal development world, but they don't really know where to start and they seem, oh, I'm just a beginner. It's kind of a little
Mhm.
intimidating to me. What would you tell them?
Mhm. So for that, I would say just choose what you think you would best resonate with. Some people it's reading a book, some people it's investing, for some people it could be joining circles, retreats, whatever you feel like you connect with your higher self most with, do that and then you'll become activated more. And the most important thing to do, remember is even when you're in those groups, even when you're feeling activated, it's inevitable that you will fall back a couple times. You're going to fall back into your old ways. You're going to fall back into your old ways of thinking, of being. And that's just inevitable and part of the process. But when you go into this journey with that realization that it's not going to just be like linear and instead it's going to be like this going up, that's when everything becomes easier because now you're not going to let the fallbacks tell you that, okay, you're not good enough, stop doing what you're doing, and that's it, right? You're going to realize that, oh, this is just part of the journey. And you're never going to just start from the beginning again. You're going to just start from where you fell off. So you're not going to start from the beginning, right? And when you think about it that way, you're actually so much more farther than you think. Because even when you fall back, you're still farther than when you were when you first started.
Wow. Your mind remembers that path that you took to get to that certain
Yeah.
point, and then it'll remember how to get back to that point. And then from that point on, you can continuously learn and grow and evolve from that point. But that is a really good point to be made, and I feel like we'll take a bit of pressure off of people who are so new to this, and
Mhm.
yeah, create a sense of play and curiosity, and really
Exactly.
be open-minded to the process.
Yeah, because we have to think like even when we fall back, it's literally just the mind trying to keep you safe, right? So it's not even like it's trying to harm you or that like it's not meant for you. It's just the mind is simply trying to keep you in the comfort zone. And we just have to remind ourselves and our nervous system that like, okay, this is exactly what I want and need, and I'm okay here and I'm safe here. Because the ego and the mind will always want to go back to where you're safe. And it's just simply protecting you. And when you come from that stance, from that, like, okay, my mind is just protecting me and loving me, that's when you can give yourself a little bit more compassion and move forward.
Yes, the compassion piece is very important
Yeah.
to come back to giving yourself love and nourishment along the way and know that you're human. There's no such thing as perfection, it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could take the pressure off too.
I agree. Exactly. Be you. So simple, but so effective.
Where did this path of seeking growth lead you now?
So I'm still always on a journey. It's a lifelong journey for sure. But where it led me now is actually accepting what I know. And it gets me so excited even talking about it now, because the biggest thing that helped me in my personal development is going after my dreams of opening up my own business. My personal development took me there, right? Without it, I wouldn't have the confidence to go right in and quit my 9 to 5 and start my business. I was stuck in my 9 to 5 for a very long time, wondering about when I'm going to start and how it's going to be like. And once I started focusing on my development and I realized that no one else is going to do this except for me, like anyone can tell me go after your dreams, but it's never going to happen unless I take a step forward.
Mm.
That's when everything for me changed. I mean, I stepped front and I couldn't show on my stories in the beginning. I wasn't aligned to my truth in the beginning. But as I kept going on my journey, the biggest thing was gaining self belief and confidence. Those two things will lead you to places that you didn't even know you could be, because you will take those leaps, you will take the risks. You realize that not taking the risk is a risk in itself. And when you have those factors in mind, you'll do anything that will make you happy.
Mm. And I love how there's no need to wait for permission to go ahead and get started. That is ultimately
Yeah.
your decision. And that's really empowering in itself to realize that you are the artist of your life. You have this painter's brush and you can create the canvas that you want. You can create the what the canvas is going to turn out to be. We have the choice and we have the power over our decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always say that you are the creator of your life, but only when you start creating, right? Like you can think of all the things that you want, but the creating part really starts with the actions, with the thoughts, with the beliefs and the confidence. That's when you truly can start molding your reality into your desired reality.
I love that. Molding too and sculpting
Yeah.
it. I love
Yeah.
that metaphor.
Yeah. We're talking all
Mm.
about art now.
Yeah, getting into that topic. I love arts and crafts. I feel like even with the process of mindset work, which we'll get into a little bit, be creative with it. You can even do some type of mindset work as you're painting. Incorporate some of those ideas that you have, maybe having conversations with yourself as you're painting an object, whatever that might be. There's so many different ways to do this really powerful inner work so
Yeah.
that your inner world and outer world reflect what you truly want.
Exactly. And it just comes down to what feels the most therapeutic to you. Because whatever is soothing to you is when the most channeled thoughts, the most relaxed thoughts are going to come into your mind, right? So that's why it's so important to find what your creative outlet is and sticking to that in times where it can become part of your daily life. And then you'll just be on this
Mhm.
like wavelength that's just above and beyond.
What exactly is mindset work and why is it so important to start to tap into?
So for mindset work for me would be always developing forward in life and staying activated. So when you're doing the mindset work, you're activated. And then when you're activated, you're just playing, you're enjoying, you're flowing, and you're not worried, you're not in doubt, you're not in lack. And although those things can come throughout your journey, when you do the mindset work, you'll better know how to navigate through those times. And doing the mindset work is also a way to prevent yourself from feeling those kind of lack feelings on a deeper level, if that makes sense. So,
Mm.
mindset work for me is just the most important factor, because without it, we're kind of just walking through the world without the awareness, and feeling like even the mundane things are just boring, you know? But when you're doing the mindset work, everything is just like colorful, everything is just fun. And what better way to live your life doing that and living your dream reality at the same time?
Yeah, and I even picture a different perspective almost that you're gaining, and how you would have reacted or responded to one thing would be completely different if you delved into those practices. Because I know for sure, and that's
Mm.
how I recognize that I am growing, because when little things happen, like maybe a podcast episode doesn't it doesn't save, and all of those audio clippings were lost. In the past, I would have gotten really upset over it and turned it into, oh, I'm a failure, I don't know why I'm even doing this, and all of that. Let's tell all the stories of lack, really. And now when something like that happens, I look at it as an opportunity of growth, a lesson. And what is this teaching me now? What is this showing me about who I am now?
Exactly. So it comes down to like, okay, if it doesn't upload, it's like, what is this going to teach me? And how can I navigate through this time to make it work for next time? And if something doesn't go your way, it's like you start to realize maybe this was just divine planning. Maybe this is just the way it's meant to flow and meant to be. And when you accept and surrender to those times, you will be less worried, less fearful throughout your whole entire journey because you realize that this is just part of the journey. I mean, if everything just worked out like it was linear, you probably won't have as many lessons. I mean, because everything you learn, you teach onto your clients, your friends, your family, right? So all of those are just nuggets of wisdom coming through you. So it's all about just surrendering to that.
Yes, absolutely. So, how do you continue to strive to be the best version of yourself?
Oh, I love this question. Personally, I do that by having a routine down. So for me, I like routine. I like accountability and everything. So I need to have that like, okay, wake up at this time, do this routine, and then I do my work. And then if I do a nighttime routine, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this before I go to bed. So routine is number one because if we rely on the fact of doing it only when we need it, that's just motivation, right? But when you're disciplined with it, you're going to do it no matter how you feel, whether you feel like doing it or not, and you're more preventable about all the things that might come about, right? And the second thing would be staying plugged into the course at all times. It can be so easy to fall backwards, but the person you are when you do fall backwards, when something doesn't go your way, is the same way that you're going to be when you have everything you desire, right? So if you're still holding yourself strong, even when things go a different way, you're going to be holding yourself even higher when you get everything you want. You're going to be more grateful for it. You're going to be more happy and abundant. You're going to feel more successful about it, right? So it's like when something goes a different way, how much grit do you have to keep going and to realize that this is just part of the path? That is so important. And as I said before, if you go into the path knowing that there's inevitable roadblocks that are going to come, that's when you can have that grit to stay the course and just strive for more and more.
I feel like if you, yeah, you have those rituals and routines that are in place that really ground and center yourself before even starting the day, it really does help put you in a relaxed state before anything else occurs. And it's something to look forward to. And you'll be excited
Yeah.
when you wake up, you'll be excited going to sleep because you know you'll have those set
Yeah.
structures and routines.
Mhm.
And you can even use that time for personal growth. So, doing different personal growth related tools to just grow and blossom into the person you're meant to become. So,
Exactly. And like even reading a book in the morning or at night, that alone can make yourself 1% better. So imagine growing 1% better every single day. And imagine at the end of the month, at the end of the year, the person you will become just because you stuck to your routines and what lights you up. Because all you need to do really is just find your creative outlet. That could be coloring, that could be painting, the meditations, the journaling. And once you stick to that routine, you're going to be like 6 months ahead of time than where you would be.
if you were to choose to do those things,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I don't think you'd ever know until you actually commit to them and realize, oh, yeah, I have definitely evolved from even 5 months ago or a
Exactly.
year ago.
Yeah.
So, what personal growth tips do you have slash tools that you would like to share?
I guess it would go into the same realm of what I just explained about staying plugged into the course at all times, understanding the
Mhm.
inevitable roadblocks, and to find accountability in the beginning of your journey. That's the number one thing. It's like maybe you can have a partner that you both say, okay, this is the time we're going to do a routine, or maybe you're going to go on walks with that friend, or maybe you're going to go to the gym with that friend. It's like having accountability will allow you to feel like you're supported, and then slowly you'll be able to do it on your own because you're like, okay, I'm in it. This is my routine. And then discipline comes in. So accountability would probably be my number one tip just because I know that's what's helped me the most. And of course, that could be different for a lot of people, but that's just my advice.
Really cheering us on will help us be motivated to continue going even when it feels hard, even when we
Exactly.
get up on those days and we don't feel like doing our routine or we don't feel like tapping into personal growth tools or strategies. It can be really just soothing to know that someone is out there that is looking out for you, that wants to see you grow, like coaches or friends, or even I've heard this one thing, just one idea that I've never even considered, but having a friend that you are super close to be your mentor and you be their mentor. So, kind of exchanging that relationship, that mutual beneficial relationship of really helping each other pursue one another's goals and just be that accountability system that you said before, checking in with each other, seeing where you're at, seeing what changes might need to be made, and seeing what improvements you can add so that you can reach that level of growth.
Yeah, exactly. Because even when the days where you feel like not doing something, that accountability partner can come in and say, okay, let's do it. And then you're like, yeah, actually, let's do it. Because if the other person can do it, you realize I can do it too. And then that just creates a more stronger effect in your life, right?
Yeah, you don't definitely don't have to be alone in the journey. And we're all in this together, like High School
Yeah.
Musical.
No, yeah. And I feel like that's so important that you said that. Like, you don't have to be alone in this journey. That is so important for people to know that you always have support, right? Like, whether that's investing, whether that's your friends, your family, you're never alone in this journey. And the outcome of it, the bigger picture, these small steps will lead you to such a big picture that you're going to look back and be like, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought, or that, it came to me faster than I realized.
Definitely. So, where can listeners connect with you, Rasna?
Yeah, definitely. So right now I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Rasna, Rasna dot Dak, Dhak. And if you head over there, you can have a list of where else you can find me, which is on Facebook and then also on TikTok.
Amazing. So, it'll be the same handles for Facebook and TikTok?
You can go into my bio on my Instagram and you will find the links to my Facebook.
Okay, amazing, amazing. I'll make sure to leave all of your links included in the description box so that they can just quickly go find you. And
Yes.
my last question that I ask all of my guests is what does it mean to blissfully bloom?
To blissfully bloom is to flow and play and flirt and seduce with life for me. That is to just grow in the ways that you feel are the most creative ways for yourself, finding what lights you up, doing those things every single day, making time for yourself every single day. That could be 5 minutes, that could be 10 minutes, and then watching yourself blissfully blooming throughout your journey.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your reflection and insight on the phrase. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate you coming on the show today. And I had such a wonderful time speaking with you about this topic. I love all things personal growth, and hearing other people's journeys and stories really inspire me. And I know that they'll inspire my listeners as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy I had this opportunity to be on here with you today. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to come on with you. I was so excited about this because I love talking about personal growth, and it honestly helped me reflect back on my journey and inspired me in a way as well. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Rasna. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you so much again, Rasna, for coming on the show. I really did enjoy our conversation today, and I learned so much about personal growth. And you just inspired me to continue to be on this path of growth and evolvement and expansion. As always, I would love to share my one key takeaway from the episode, and that is the importance of accountability. Having somebody who is also going through this journey with you can be so beneficial because you may wake up some days and not feel like taking action or not feel like taking those necessary steps to actually propel you forward. But if you have somebody there on the sidelines cheering you on, being that support system and really wanting you to flourish, it'll make that much of a difference. So having maybe a friend or a family member there who knows you're going through a personal development journey, maybe you tell them about your reading schedule and say that you're going to stick to reading your book, your personal development book, once a week or 3 times a week, and you kindly ask them to send you a text message and say, hey, can you check up with me once a week asking me if I've read my book? And then you can do something for them in exchange. So how can you help them throughout their personal development journey? How can you help them grow and blossom into the person that they want to become? What support would they like to see from you, and what support would you like to see from them? I really enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to leave a rating and a review either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I'm pretty sure on Apple Podcasts you can leave an actual rating and review, and then Spotify you can leave a rating. But if you do any of those, I really would appreciate it. It helps the podcast grow, and it helps other listeners be able to find the podcast as well. So, yeah. And if you would like to, make sure to screenshot the episode and leave your key takeaway in your stories, and make sure to tag me at blissfully.bloom, and I will share your story if you tag me and shout you out. So thank you so much for listening. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.